Good morning. Starting today's ride from the town of Batea in the Terra Alta region. We're doing that because I still need to get back for my goats. So if I want to do a new journey, somewhere I've never been before, I need to do a bit of a drive first. But we're going into the Kingdom of Aragon and seeing some old stuff, some really old stuff. This church is a Knights Templars church. It was at the gateway, the portal here, of the road to Zaragoza. And it was, as such, it was very important for trade. And they taxed everyone who came through. Good for them. These portals on the side here were for market traders, so they could ply their wares to the various travellers who were coming through. The church gives you an idea of how important the town was. It's massive. I always manage to forget something. Today it's my crib notes about everything on this ride. So you're going to have a lot of little bits of text coming up, because I won't remember a thing. This is definitely the steepest road I've ever ridden down. We'll see how it goes. It looks very narrow as well. So what I have remembered, just as I'm leaving Batea, is that it was an important town even in Roman times, because it lay on the route between Tortosa, which was a Roman port, and the cities of Lleida and Zaragoza. And Zaragoza then was called Caesar Augusta. Oops, there it is. And later became the capital of the Kingdom of Aragon. I think it's very windy today, sorry about this. So I'm not expecting the big mountains and the big vistas so much. There's a lot of rolling hills and a heck of a lot of vines. Oh, I wasn't expecting water. That's something I've not really thought about. As we passed from Catalonia into Aragon, the crops changed from almost completely vines now to almonds. And it took me a moment to realise it's because in Catalonia the region Terra Alta is a DO, so it's a special region, so they can command reasonable prices for their wine. Whereas Aragon, I don't think, has any DOs for its wine at all, so it's not economic to grow. So they've stuck with the old crops like olives and almonds. Not used to seeing this either. Wheat fields. We don't have any wheat fields. Gratuitous blue sky shot. Nearly there. It's quite hard. As the late great George Michael once said, you got to go up to get down. This is my area, which means her hand, and the story behind how it got its name is fantastic. Gory, but fantastic. So the lord of the manor, the lord of the area, asked for a maid's hand in marriage, and she refused him because she was already engaged to another. So the lord had the fiancée abducted and tortured until the maid relented. In hearing his cries over night after night, she eventually relented, and she offered the lord her hand, which he chopped off and sent to him on a silver platter. Obviously well off, they've got a clock tower. Very pretty. Or I could go down there. Looks a bit gravelly. Looks a lot more fun. Let's do that. This once was... There's a big dog. This once was... Hello, buddy. Hello, gorgeous. That once was a religious edifice. And on... oh, wow, didn't expect that. And oh, didn't expect that. That's the Matarana. On Google, that religious establishment gets one star. It's rubbish. What a load of rubbish. Came all this way to see it. It's rubbish. Looks like it's been sold and turned into a rather lovely private residence. So this is the valley of the Matarana, and just on the left there, that's going to be one side of the, that's an old river cliff, and then you've got the big flat plain, and all the way over there, a good mile and a half away is the other river cliff. To get an idea of just how big at one point this river would have been, and now it's just a trickle. So the next old thing on our old thing tour is this abandoned monastery. They call it a trappa, but it's Trappist. But it was actually started in the 6th century by Benedictine monks, and just about every other order of monks has moved in at some point. Cistercians and others. I've got to say, I'm absolutely loving this. It's like I'm on holiday. The landscapes are so different from what we're used to. These big open fields and no trees. Yeah, holiday. This really is so much more remote than I'm used to. Miles and miles and miles between the towns. You really feel quite isolated. It's lovely. Side trip. We're off to see a Roman mausoleum, which apparently is better nick than just about anything anywhere. So unfortunately it's locked up, but yes, I can confirm it looks in good nick for 2,000 years old. But if you think 2,000 years is old, then our next stop, Fabara, one or the other, is even older. There are settlements around it which have been dated back to the to the Stone Age, and yeah, about 10,000 years BC. Fabara, next stop. Back over the Matarana. Oh, it's got to be here somewhere. Come on, Matarana. Dry. Big bridge. Obviously gets very angry when it does flow. Come on. Ah, there's a bit. Is that it? That's it. Ah, that was it. So I couldn't find anything iso-paleolithic in Fabara, but there's a nice sort of castle-y thing. I'm sure that's old. It's got to be old, doesn't it? It looks old. Little fixer-upper. Bit of suffering for you. I've got a 3-kilometre climb, averaging 4.2 to get back up to the Terra Alta. But who cares when it's like this? I've only just crossed back into Catalonia, and I should have known because lo and behold, it's the Terra Alta and there's the vines everywhere. So we're in this sea of vines and I've barely talked about them. Well, the Terra Alta is different from most regions in that it generally only grows one variety, which is Garnacha, and it grows it in red and white forms. And from that one type of grape, albeit 2 colours, they make white, red, rosé, sweet, very much, and they get everything. We went to see one winemaker in Batea, and he's making Garnacha Blanca from hairy grapes. He's making a big thing of it, that they're hairy grapes. Well, that's a gooseberry, so it's not a hairy grape. The leaves are hairy, but I don't know if that's nitpicking. I saw Batea a minute ago as well. It's got to be around here somewhere. We are back in Batea. I didn't give you half of the information that I looked up beforehand. I'm a bit forgetful, but I've had a fantastic ride. I think it was about 60 kilometres. It was about 800 metres of climbing. It was just something different, a holiday. Thanks for watching.